What's up, everybody? Jazz here from Blk Sunflower. We started off as a candle company, but as things grew, I realized, what I really want to do? I want to help people become better in their businesses. And so that's why we're here today. And today we are going to talk about 5 reasons why you need product photography in your business. And who's going to be joining me today is my dear friend, Christina Crawford of Creative Solutions, LLC. She has done pretty much all my product photography, except for the ones that I attempted to do on my own, which I think I did a pretty good job. Before we go ahead and get started, let me know. Yeah, there we go. Daniel already knows. Let me know where you're from, where you're at. And we're going to get this party started in just a moment. I like to give people a little bit of time to roll in. And then I'm going to give Christina another little introduction and we're going to get started. So let's give it like 2 more minutes and we will go and get this party started. I'm excited. I hope everyone's having an amazing day because this week, everything is just flowing. Now, I'm not saying everything's perfect, but I am definitely making the best of it. And I am making sure that I'm up and I'm consistent so I can stay moving. Hello, Nicole from North Cali. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. And if you're catching this replay, I appreciate you as well. So, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get started and we can continue on, or everyone else can catch up later. So today I really want to talk about lifestyle photography and how important it is and why we actually need it in our business. I mean, basic website pictures are great. The white background, they're great. They let people see what the product is, but we need the people to be able to envision what that product can actually do for them. And it will make a world of a difference when it comes to posting on Instagram and getting your story out there about your business and what you're trying to actually portray. So without further ado, I would like to bring my dear friend Christina to the stage. Christina, feel free to introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. My name is Christina Crawford. I am the owner and photographer at Creative Solutions. That's SOUL Solutions, LLC. I got into product photography thanks to Jazz because she used to be my fitness coach. And for whatever reason, she still has that effect on me where she can just suggest very strongly that I do certain things. And I just go ahead and follow along. So...
But it's been amazing. I mean, not only my products that you've done, but you have done quite a few other products, people within Blk Sunflower, within the Academy, and just word of mouth in our community. They've been like, hey, and from what I heard from you is that you actually kind of enjoy it more than your portrait family photography that you used to do. Is that true?
It is true. It's so fun because it's like I get to go out and source props specifically to cater to a specific image. And I want to meet that need for my clients. Like that's really, really important to me. I try to be top tier when it comes to my customer service and I don't want to let people down. Your products are you. So, that's your brand.
Right. So that takes a lot. That takes a lot to actually try to take somebody else's vision and turn it into something that taking somebody's vision and actually making it reality, because what they have in their head isn't necessarily always what you have in your head, but you have a really beautiful way of kind of not only bringing the ideas together, but kind of going with the flow and really pulling out what somebody's really trying to encompass. Because I know we don't speak many full words and sentences when we work together, but stuff just so happens to work. So I'm going to start off with number 5. So although some of our shoots could be a little bit long, they don't always have to be. So your number 5 is you were stating that it can be quick, on the fly, and practical with lifestyle photography. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when it comes to, being practical, quick, and on the fly, when I think about products, it's like, how are you actually using them? Are you using them in your home? Is it in the bathroom? Is it while you're out? Is it some kind of like your body butters, for instance? It's like, I want to see that in action. So literally, and I've even seen you do this where you're like, I'm going to take a quick video. I'm going to take a quick photo. I'm just going to show how it's used. And even though it might be stating the obvious, it really emphasizes the quality of the product. So it doesn't always have to be something outlandish. It can just literally be product in use on the fly.
And so you're saying Stop trying. I know earlier you said you get to go out and source products. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
always going out and sourcing props, not products, props.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just looking about how do I actually just use it and literally
Yep.
just record yourself
Yep.
using it. Okay,
Exactly.
let's be honest. 90% of the world is afraid to even show their face on camera. Is that even necessary for lifestyle photos, do you think?
No, no, I don't think so at all. Because what it is like, again, going back to your body butters, for instance, just smoothing it up your arm. I'm like, oh, that looks like it's nice. I want to try that. It looks luxurious,
Right.
So and that doesn't require your face to be in it.
Right. And so I guess it's not always you see the object or the product in the actual container and the jar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny that we're very intelligent creatures, but yet we can be very like short term at the same time. So yes, it looks cool in the jar, but for some reason it makes a whole different effect when I'm actually rubbing the product on me and I see somebody rubbing the product on them.
Mm-hmm.
Or why do you think I guess most soda commercials they're drinking and they're going like it's
Because it's refreshing.
right. It's refreshing. It's a story that you're trying to sell. So I guess the main
Exactly.
point of this one is what are some things that you can think of around your house, maybe around that would be in most people's houses that they can use? It doesn't really matter the brand. Most
Mm-hmm.
people that are watching today are doing candles. And let's be honest, candle photography could be extremely boring unless you make it. So what are
Yeah.
some things around? I mean, it can't be unless you have the lifestyle like photos thrown in there. What are some things that you can think off the top of your head that people can use in their homes to create something quick and on the fly without purchasing something new?
Are we talking specifically candles? Or is it
Anything.
like it could be anything? Okay.
You can do
Well,
anything. Okay,
just
let's take the candles.
I was gonna say, if we are gonna use candles as an example, it could literally just be it is on your bathroom counter, lit, it smells good, and leave it at that. Just don't want to have obviously don't want to have a whole bunch of clutter around the space. But it's not gonna usually take much to just straighten it up, make it look clean and simple, and it's in real world use.
So that's the main thing, real world use. And
Mhm.
then
No props,
even just
mind you.
huh?
No props. That doesn't require a prop.
That's true. You don't have to. You're the prop. And even if it's just lit in the bathroom and you're like blurred out in the background moving around or something,
Mhm.
that's a really good like maybe using cinematic mode
Mhm.
and focusing the candle in the front and then it's just a blur of you in the background. Like maybe you starting to run a bath or brushing your
Mhm.
teeth or in the mirror, but it just shows the candle in the forefront and a blur in the background. And that's another really great way of creating lifestyle photos. It's like this ominous person, which is you, in the background, and whatever you're trying to focus on, kind of in
Mhm.
the front
Mhm.
part of it. So yeah, I think those are good. Hello,
Could be
everyone.
simple as you're just lighting it. On
Right?
screen.
It's exactly. So we kind of mentioned this in this last section, but we're going backwards. Five, we're gonna go. Reason number four is it shows people how to use the product.
Mhm.
We kind of talked about that and how we're smart, but we're not so smart creatures, and where we actually sometimes need that connection on product use.
Mhm.
Are there any suggestions or any ways that you can think of using the product, or let's say for that strawberries and whipped cream photo you want
Mhm.
to show product use but maybe your product isn't really like stable to sit there forever while you're taking pictures? What
Mhm.
are some tips that you can give when trying to create these lifestyle photos? And maybe you have, let's give an example, the whipped cream. The whipped
Mhm.
cream doesn't stay up. What are some cool little tips? Maybe give us like two little tips that you can use to help kind of amplify your photos and not have like stuff look like it's dying.
Oh. So, in particular, that one for, the strawberries and whipped cream, we ended up using shaving cream because shaving cream will hold its shape, and whipped cream will just fall flat within seconds. And so that's one thing that you could do if you have something that's more along the lines of, say you have an ice cream sundae, type scented candle, you can use whipped mashed potatoes, and you can actually color it to make it look like ice cream, and you can scoop it, set it up. It's perfect. It's a perfect
So
consistency.
whipped mashed potatoes. So just the
Yep.
box mashed
Sure.
potatoes.
Yeah.
You whip them up and you can use that as like your ice cream. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, just make sure
So
that it's like on the thicker side so that you can actually scoop it and form it into a scoop,
got
and then
it.
you can just go ahead and make it, look like
So not the kind you perfectly would want to eat, but quite a bit thicker than that. Actually, it sounds really weird, but that will make really cute for a lot of like holiday or Valentine's Day photos that are coming up. Because I know a lot of people like to add like whipped cream and stuff into
Mhm.
their Valentine's Day photos. So you're saying which whipped mashed potatoes is the way to go?
No, well, okay, mashed potatoes is for ice cream.
Oh, for ice cream,
For whipped cream, you want to use
shaving
shaving
cream.
cream.
I was about to have everyone have mashed potatoes. Okay, shaving cream, you guys. So shaving cream for whipped cream, mashed potatoes for
For
ice
ice
cream.
cream.
I like that. That's great
And
for
the
a lot of
two
like the
combined.
spring, summer shoots that we have coming up. All
Yeah.
right. So we all see the plain white backgrounds. Those are cool and all, but the third reason you gave me was it elevates your product. So
Mhm.
can you tell me more about helping you differentiate your brand from you? I mean, from somebody else that's similar to you
Mhm.
and your product. What are the lifestyle photos going to give you?
So the one way that it elevates your brand is because just like you mentioned, you can go ahead and take a photo on a flat white background and it looks real clean. There's nothing wrong with those, but it elevates your brand because it looks like you put a lot of thought into it. You went ahead and showed how the product is used, and you basically you kind of gave a story behind it. You told people how this makes you feel. You just portrayed that in an image by setting up the scene.
And so this is another one that you mentioned, the subliminal messaging part.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Can
So
you tell us more about that?
so when I talk about subliminal messaging in lifestyle photos, it might be it might not be that your product is actually the focal point of the image, because one of the ways that you start to kind of tell that story is you're looking at a literal big picture. So you might have your small product and you have this big picture, and your product is just kind of there in the photo. Like, it's there. It's not, there's nothing that's really taking away from it, but it really sets the scene for kind of where it's headed. And
Mhm.
usually this will come like with a series of photos, but it's kind of subliminal. It's like those things where, oh, I was just talking about, toothpaste, and suddenly I got an email about this toothpaste that I love that's on sale. It's kind of
Yeah.
one of those things. It's just planting some seeds.
Got it. And so planting those seeds, especially let's talk about Instagram. Instagram is full of people always trying to sell us stuff. And so do you feel that having lifestyle photos instead of just pictures of just your candle, we're going to keep just going back to candles, will do better now? Or do you still think people should focus on their main product? Or, I mean, or do you feel like the subliminal messaging is the way that we kind of start needing to focus? Like, where do you feel?
I don't think that subliminal messaging is necessarily, should be, I don't think that it should be the primary focus. I think like it's one of those things that really just sets the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And say for instance, like, you have multiple products, and maybe you just want to kind of hint at one of those other products, while maybe the other one is front and center, but you want
Mm-hmm.
to hint at that other product in the background, because it's like, yes, this is here, but did you see that little cameo in the background? you
Mm-hmm.
know so kind of like those things. I don't but it's it can be one of those things, like going back to associating it with like elevating your brand. If you think about like the way that you might see a catalog, like a really upscale catalog, it is like that. It sets the scene for you. It's like these beautiful images, and the product is present, but you see big picture at the moment, when you initially start like reviewing that catalog.
Right. And I honestly feel that my buying habits is when somebody's literally telling me buy this now, I don't really, it doesn't connect with me. It doesn't usually click. But if I watch like 4 or 5 of your videos and you happen to keep sipping on the same drink the entire time, I'm like, what are you drinking? I'm like, I think I need that. Um, so I guess it may also really depend on the demographic that you have and who
Right.
you're trying to reach, with which direction you focus more on. Do you focus more on lifestyle photography, or do you focus more on product focused photography? Is that even a thing, or did I just make that up? Product focused photography.
Let's run it. I like
I'm
it.
gonna run with it. I'm just gonna stick with that. Product focused photography.
Yeah.
On that term. Yeah. So when I come to you, I was like, hey, Christina, I need some more product focused photography shots. You're going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're already here.
So let's be honest. This next one kind of ties into with what we have here. And this is a really quick one, but I also just want to open it up for questions where lifestyle products sell a fantasy. And like, we all have this lifestyle that we want, that we dream of. I'm going to be honest here. I have always wanted to be that aesthetics girly. The one who has the beautiful setup kitchen and everything's always pristine and in order all the
I
time and
love
nice.
it.
Like, listen, I've tried for the longest to be that person. And I came to terms with it truly. Like, I've slowly came to terms with it, but it really solidified, I think, the end of last week, that's just not me. I am not going to have, like, my desk is a hot mess right now. There's an airhead wrapper. There's some, like, everything's piled up. I have a sweatshirt laying right here. From here up, looks like my life is put together. Here down, it's a hot mess. Okay, you guys. So selling that fantasy and that dream. I'm personally about transparency now because it's hard for me to be something I'm not. And when I'm trying so hard to be something I'm not, then I never get anything done. So I guess I don't really have a question, but what are your thoughts on creating this lifestyle in the fantasy? Mine is right now learning, do as I say, not as I do. Don't try so hard trying to create this fantasy of this life that's not even you and not put out anything. I think it's just a statement. Let me just get your take on it because I don't really have a question, but what is your whole spiel around that?
That was a question. So selling the fantasy, it's like, just talking about creating that story behind the product and or just creating the story and allowing people to let their imaginations run wild about all the possibilities of what could be. And it might sound like absolutely crazy, but you're selling them on like what life could be if they buy your product. It sounds ridiculous when you think about it, but think back to when you were a kid, when you saw toys and stuff like that on the TV and just like the amazing time these kids are having. And it's like this well lit studio and it's like this perfect space that they're playing in, and the walls are pink. I don't know. Weren't you like, when you got that toy, you were like, this is not what I thought it was going to be, but they sold you on it, didn't they?
Right. They did. They did. And I guess it was hard for me to come to terms with. I'm like, man, I'm creating this luxury brand that belongs on this marble credenza and blah, blah, blah. I don't have any of that to show you guys. I don't. And so for the longest, that's one reason I reached out to you, Christina. I was like, for the longest, I'm like, I cannot recreate this. Like, I have the vision in my head. I know what I want it to be like. But damn it, my kitchen, I still have wooden baseboards. Okay, I got wooden baseboards back there, and I don't have backsplash. That.
Same for me. My house
Right?
is really old. That's why I went to somebody else's house to shoot.
Right? But there are little things we're talking about being like, I'm gonna give you guys some tips. Like Home Depot and all those places, they have slabs of leftover marble and wood and laminate. I know on like Amazon you can get all these backdrops and things like that, but check out the clearance section in your local hardware stores. Everything from tiles to laminates to marble, like everything. Or if you go in those backsplash sheets that they have, they come in squares. Get yourself a couple of those. So walk around a hardware store for a little bit, and I'm pretty sure you can find a lot of things to create that lifestyle, which I did in the past. And now I'm just not doing that. Not because it didn't work. It's just I'm really just coming to terms with, unless I hire somebody like Christina to do this for me, it's not going to happen. Just because that's not my lifestyle. And the great thing about being a business owner, you find what works for you. This wasn't working for me. I don't really enjoy it unless I have the moments. Like I did a
Mhm.
bathtub shoot the other day. It was a spur of the moment. I had to catch it while it's there, or it's going to fly out the window. Christina, can you give us 3 tips? Let's say somebody is hesitant or
Mhm.
struggling with creating lifestyle photography pictures.
Mhm.
Um, what are 3 tips, whether it's like camera settings or apps or positioning? What are
Mhm.
3 tips that you can give to try to make this easier on everyone?
Well, I would probably start with angles. And the reason that I say that is because when you have a product that maybe it has a lot to show up front, you want to take that picture from the front. If it's something that you want to see the detail of, like from the top down, but you feel like you're missing out on the front, then you probably want to go above, but at a 45-degree angle. And if you think that there are important details that are on the front and back of it, you want to photograph all of it. You can't necessarily always capture it all in one picture. Sometimes you can. Maybe you just have to include multiple of the same product in the photo. Sometimes that's just the way that you have to go about it. So that would be tip number one is angles. Tip two, don't overthink it. And the reason that I say that is because the minute that you start overthinking it, you're either going to not get it done, or you're going to start overcrowding your picture, and then it's just going to look crazy and out of place and not really make sense, and then it won't flow. So then it won't be like that natural on the fly look like we had mentioned. Like I think that was tip number, or like point number 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
um and then let's see, number 3, let's say to be resourceful. I'm going to say be resourceful with your props. And the reason that I say that is because you might think that you don't have things laying around the house, but it actually turns out that you do. This is actually part of the reason why I legit went to the Dollar Tree and was like, I'm just going to buy a stack of white plates because why not? I use them in real life and I also use them for my photography. So it's, be resourceful when it comes to using your props. Look around your house. You never know what's going to fit.
Right. I think the one tip I can take, because before I had the money to even pay anybody to do it, and I kind of did my own photos, I would add to the photo. So I would start with like the bare minimum of in the picture, and I would
Mhm.
slowly add to it, take a few pictures, look at the actual picture, add something else to it. Because I think a lot of times we have this idea, we throw a bunch of stuff in the picture, we take it, and we think we're done. And then you go and look back, and you're like, none of these work. So I would highly recommend going back and actually looking at your picture after each one you take, and
Yep.
really absorb it in, and see exactly what's going on in the picture. See if things are adjusted right. Oh, can you talk about the rule of 3?
Oh, the rule of thirds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the birds. Yes, I think that would be a really good one for people. Yes, I just interrupted, but I think this is important.
You interrupted yourself. It's
I
fine.
know. I'm just excited.
So the rule of thirds is, if you can imagine putting a 3 by 3 grid like over your screen, or like your phone, for instance. You can actually pull it up on most applications, or like your camera application on your phone. You want to place your primary focal point, or your subject, the product, in the crosshairs of one of those thirds. It doesn't matter if it's center, or like if it's up at the top, whatever it is, you just want that to be your focal point. It's where the eye is drawn to naturally. And so you want to place things around it, but that should be your focal point.
Okay, perfect. See, I was like, there's something. I remember you told me that, because I would text you and I'd send you a picture. I'm like, what about this, Christina? You're like, okay, that's cool, but move that a little bit here. I'm like, okay, now what about this? And I was just so proud of myself when I'd send you a picture and you'd be like, good job. I'm like, I'm doing it.
You
I'm
do
doing
do
it.
a good job.
And so I'm not a professional photographer by any means necessary, but I highly recommend taking some time to play with the settings within your phone. I know
Me too.
within the academy, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about actually how to go about it and actually placing stuff out. So it's going to be a bit more in depth in the class that we're having in the academy. That's this Saturday at 4 p.m. Yes, no, 12.
12.
I don't remember. It's this Saturday. I'll post it in the collective. I'll have it up there. So, do you guys have any questions as we continue on? We're gonna head out of here in just a second. I just want to make sure I give an opportunity for you guys to ask any questions and get them answered right now because we have Christina on hand. She's a busy woman, so I'm really thankful for you taking the time to come.
No, thank you.
Speak with us
No,
and just sharing your knowledge. I was like, Christina, I need to hold you hostage for like an hour and a half out of this week. What type of camera and lights would you recommend?
Well, it depends on how extensive you're trying to go. I don't necessarily think everybody needs to run out and grab like like a mirrorless camera. That's what I use. You can actually use what's on your phone. The technology in our phones has actually come a really long way. You just have to know how to use it. Actually, we did a class that really discussed that in depth with the Blk Sunflower Academy. But you can go into pro mode on your phone, and if you're not comfortable with that, you can use portrait mode. As far as lights go, I would say use what's available to you. I'm a big fan of sunlight because it gives like a really light and airy feel to things. But if you don't always have sunlight, which, if you live over here where we do in Washington, you won't always have good sunlight. You can go ahead and use artificial light. You just want to make sure that when you edit your photos before you post them, that the coloring is consistent because all light is not necessarily equal. You're going to have warmer and cooler lights depending on what it is that you're using. So I would say just use available light. Just make sure that it's well lit so you can get a really good picture, and make sure that the the label on your product is really clear.
Clear, straight, no scratches. Like I feel the cleaner everything is when you initially take the picture, that's less editing that you have to do. In my mind, less frustration. Especially if you're just not familiar with using different editing tools like Lightroom and
Lightroom, yep. Uh-oh. Jazz, I think you froze.
Are we back?
Okay, I think we're back.
Okay. Personally, if I get frustrated, I just quit and I don't do it. So, yeah, keeping things simple and using what you have. You do not need to go out and purchase a brand new camera. I yet have still not purchased a brand new camera. I ended up purchasing a new phone because I had a pretty old iPhone. I think it was like iPhone 10 that I started with. I started the business, and most of the pictures that you see on the beginning of my Blk Sunflower page were taken with the iPhone 10, loaded into Lightroom, and simply gorgeous glow says she loves Lightroom. And yes, Lightroom is amazing, especially the app on the phone. I think it's $59 for the year, $30, something like that. Highly recommend. One of the best purchases that I made for an app. And I'm not a person who usually buys apps. So, any more questions or anything else that you would like to share, Christina, before I close us out?
Not that I can think of. I just really hope to see some folks in the class. This is something that I really love and enjoy doing, and I'm certainly, ready to answer any questions. Of course, if I don't have answers, I'm willing to research it and get back to you.
Awesome. So this Saturday in the Academy, Blk Sunflower Academy, different from the collective, Kristen will be hosting a class on exactly how to do product photography, where she's going to show us like how to use the camera, different editing methods, things like that. So we're going to go dive a lot deeper into that. This class will be available by the end of the month on the collective, but it'll be at a different cost. So you would have to pay for it. The Academy, everything is all included. Trying to think what else. We no longer have the 3-day trials to the Academy because the collective is almost like a long-term trial of the Academy. It's pretty cool. So the link will be down below a little bit later. If you're watching the replay and it's not down there yet, it will be. You can also visit the link in the bio. Also, make sure that you give Christina a follow. I'm not sure. Are you currently taking clients right now, Christina?
I am. I've got a lot of work that I'm doing right now. Like I still have a lot of editing to get done, but I am still open and taking more clients.
Okay, perfect. And so you don't have to be in Seattle to take advantage of her services. If you did want to get some product photography done, you just require you sending her your products, and then of course you guys will go over your whole vision. If you go through my Instagram page, there are quite a few pictures that you go towards the bottom. I've actually tagged her in all of them. So if you click on the picture, it'll have that she actually is taking the picture. She's done them for quite a few people within our circle here in Seattle. So yeah, she's just getting it out there and helping people, because it makes a huge difference. It makes
It's
such a
so
huge
fun. It's so
difference.
fun.
Right. Awesome. So, the link isn't working. If you just go to blacksunflowerbusinesscollective.com, I will add that in here. blacksunflowerbusinesscollective.com. There we go. I put it in the comments. It should be on the link tree, and it should work from there. So if you just type on that, and then the Academy link is in there as well if you just wanted to jump straight to the Academy. But all of that is available for you guys. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today. You can be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. And for that, I am thankful. If you have any more questions, I am going to hop into the collective for a little bit today, answer up any questions, see what they have going on, hop over into the Academy, see what they have going on, and go make some more products. I think I have to make some diffusers tonight. Yes, I have some diffusers to make tonight. So hope everyone has a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.